in today's session, we're going to be talking about a few things. We will be talking about an introduction to Royal Holloway, what it's like to study here, the kind of support we can offer you, and also just life generally outside the lecture theatre. So firstly, let's start with an introduction to Royal Holloway. So here are some just key facts about Royal Holloway. We're one of the top 25 universities in the UK, which is something we're really proud of. And other things that, again, we're really proud of is our graduate level employment. So 79% of our students are in graduate level employment or further study 15 months after leaving Royal Holloway. We also have above sector student average student satisfaction with an overall rating of 77%. Annually, we offer over £3.3 million in scholarships and bursaries. And we're in the top 25% of UK universities for research. We've got a beautiful campus and so much going for us. And talking about our campus, where are we? So that's central London. If you zoom out, you can see that big white splodge is Heathrow Airport. Then going into the green area, right by Staines and Egham, you have Royal Holloway University. We're also by Thorpe Park and Windsor, which are other local landmarks of ours. And we're a campus university, so that means that everything is in the one space. So here you can see the blue buildings are where you'll study. We've got a new library, we've got some lecture theatres there. The purple buildings are where you'll live, so there are accommodation. So the big orange building in the title slide is one of our accommodation buildings, actually. And then red buildings are social areas, so we've got things like a bubble tea cafe, we've got a pub, some nightclubs, sports and gym facilities, a whole range of things. Right, so on to the founding of the college. Royal Holloway College was founded by someone called Thomas Holloway and his wife Jane. So Thomas was a self-made millionaire. He sold medicines, pills, ointments, and he wanted to know what to do with his money. So he initiated a public debate in 1879 saying, I've got £250,000, how best can I spend it? And it was his wife, Jane, that suggested, actually, the way that might create the greatest good was having a college for women. Hence, they founded Royal Holloway College. Unfortunately, both Thomas and Jane did die before the college was opened, but Jane's brother, George Martin, ensured it was successful and even invited Queen Victoria to open the college. And that's when it became Royal Holloway, because it was opened by Queen Victoria in 1886. Now, there is someone else to introduce you to. This is Elizabeth Jesser Reed. So she devoted her life to supporting campaigns and causes such as anti-slavery and benevolent schemes for women. She provided the money to found a different college, Bedford College, which was the first women's higher education college in Britain, and that was founded in 1849. Now, Royal Holloway College and Bedford College merged in 1985 to form Royal Holloway and Bedford New College, and you can still see the sign outside with the full name. And now today that is known as Royal Holloway, University of London. So we are also part of the University of London. So that's a large group of universities including UCL, Imperial, King's College London, and Royal Holloway has links to those and sometimes even shares teaching and facilities. And we have an area of campus in central London as well. So going on to studying at Royal Holloway. So here are the general areas that we offer courses in. Now with this, I'll say there's a lot more than what you see here, because for example, underneath Earth Sciences we have courses in environment and climate change. Underneath Biological Sciences we've got a course in genetics, one in zoology. In psychology we have a course that specialises in clinical psychology and mental health. So even within these subjects there's so much more detail that you can go into, but this is just the broad overarching subjects that we might have. I'm going to talk about them in a bit more detail. So firstly, our business and management school. Under this bracket comes accounting and finance and business and management. So these courses, we've got courses accredited by things like CPA, CIMA, which if you're looking into business and accounting things, these names will mean something to you, I hope. If not, have a Google. But essentially they are professional qualifications and recognised degrees. Within these courses we've got things like international business, we've got a course in entrepreneurship, And there are various combinations. So there's management with marketing, for example. So even within these general schools, there's a lot more detail that you can go into. The next school I want to talk about is engineering, physical and mathematical sciences. So this covers computer science, electronic engineering, information security, mathematics, physics. So with this, one thing I want to highlight is physics was ranked 4th in the UK for graduate prospects. And part of the reason for this is physics has a really good placement scheme, and then, for example, your third year, you could do a project with CERN. Other things I want to highlight for electronic engineering, we have a brand new building which was actually designed around the Google offices. So in it's got like bean bags and kind of collaborative thinking spaces, and also on the roof there's a field lab that includes solar panels and a wind farm. Again, with computer science, you can do some specialized courses. We've got one in information security, for example. We've got one in artificial intelligence. And again, our maths department are really highly ranked for their research as well. So it's not just teaching that they do, there's also some research going on there. The next school to talk about is the humanities. So this involves classics, English, history, and then languages, literature, and culture. Within languages, we offer 4 different languages that you can study. You can study Spanish, French, Italian, and German, and you can study them at different levels. So we've got a beginner, intermediate, and advanced level. So you can actually pick up a new language that you haven't learned. Classics was ranked 4th in the UK for student satisfaction in the Complete University Guide in 2022. So these are up-to-date figures, by the way. And English was ranked 1st for creative writing by the Times and Sunday Times Good University Guide in 2022. Right, moving on to law and social sciences. So this actually covers a range of things, including economics, law and criminology, politics and international relations, philosophy, and social work. Law was ranked 3rd in the UK for graduate prospects this year, and one of the advantages of our location is that actually it's quite easy to get into London as well. So it means that if you were to study law and wanted to go to law events in central London, that is something you could quite easily do. Some economics courses are accredited by CIMA, something to highlight there. And philosophy was actually ranked 4th in the UK for teaching quality. Now, another course I want to point out that we do offer within our law and social sciences faculty is PPE. So if that was something that you're interested in, that stands for philosophy, politics and economics in some order. So again, a lot of detail you can go into there. Criminology you can do with psychology if that was something you wanted. You can also do law with different languages, for example. So there are ways to combine these subjects. Right, next faculties we have life sciences and the environment. So underneath this we have things like biological sciences, earth sciences, geography, health studies and psychology. Biology ranked 3rd in the UK for graduate careers in the Guardian University Guide, and we're also 4th in the UK for animal science. For psychology, all our degrees are BPS accredited, that is the British Psychological Society, and actually that reminds me with the law degrees before, they're all LLB, so they're qualifying law courses. Psychology as well, we have some amazing facilities. So we've got an MRI machine, which everyone uses in their 2nd year at the moment, to scan your brains. We've got things like baby labs, sleep labs. Moving on to geography, geography was ranked 4th in the UK for student experiences in the Times and Sunday Times University Guide. And within geography, you go on a lot of field trips as well. Health studies is exciting. This is one of our new courses. So it's new for 2022. And I will say about earth sciences, it's really cool. We have masters in geoscience, and this is where a lot of the environmental studies go along. So you can look into climate change as part of your earth sciences course. Next, we have performing and digital art. So this covers drama, theatre and dance. This covers media arts and music. So we're actually 5th in the UK for music, and music is 2nd for graduate prospects, both in the Times and Sunday Times Good University Guide. We've actually got also a wonderful chapel choir who have just released an album today, hot off the press, as part of the Queen's Jubilee celebrations, and they're regularly featured on Radio 3. We're also one of the top 10 in the UK for drama and for media and film studies. Now this is competing against really high-class drama schools as well. And I think one of the reasons why we do so well is we've got some great facilities. We have 3 theatres, one of which seats about 200 people, one of which is a red brick collaborative space, and then we've got a Japanese puppet theatre, which was one of the only traditional Japanese theatres outside of Japan and was gifted to us. So that's all the schools round up. I know that's a lot of information and a lot of detail there, but hopefully that just gives you a flavour of the kind of things you can learn about at Royal Holloway and the high class education that we give. I will say all of our courses can have a placement year. So all of our undergraduate students are eligible to apply for either studying overseas, which can be for a summer or a full year, or a placement year, paid and voluntary. So this is a year in industry. And this is something that's across all of our courses as well. In terms of if you wanted to study abroad, we have 80 global partners all over the world. So we've got partners in Europe, in Australia, Canada, China, Hong Kong, Japan, Korea, Mexico, New Zealand, and the States. So it really is a global university with global opportunities. Right, so we talked a bit about the subjects. What about outside the lecture theatre? Well, we have a lot of accommodation on site, and for our first year students, if you put us as your firm choice, we guarantee you accommodation if you apply in time. So you can see the Founders Building, that beautiful orange building, is our accommodation block, but then we have some other accommodation blocks as well, and we offer a range of different options. So you can have catered accommodation, self-catered, you can be en suite or a shared bathroom, and actually within our Founders block there are some single-sex corridors as well, so that is an option. We don't have any single-sex accommodation blocks, but we have single-sex corridors within the blocks. For facilities, we have standard laundry facilities, we have a beautiful library, we have tons of places to eat. We also have a shop on site, so this is where you can always buy either meals, so you can buy sandwiches and sushi there, but also the staples, you can buy pasta and bread and ingredients, fresh fruit and things to make and cook food as well. Onto the services. So we have a range of student services that we offer and that you're able to access whilst you're studying with us. So our library team are wonderful. They're not librarians just in the sense of they stand there shushing. They're firstly really friendly people, but also they can help you with skills and teach you how to do things like referencing. They're a wonderful resource and, as I said, wonderful people. We also have our Centre for Development of Academic Skills. So this is to help you with those academic skills like essay writing, numeracy and literacy, and they offer workshops. They also offer workshops on study skills and things. So if you're a bit worried about the step up to university life and what support you might have for the general skills that aren't so subject specific, don't be. We have CDAS who are there to help you, and you can book one-on-one appointments as well with a CDAS advisor. We also have financial wellbeing advisors. For many of you, university might be the first time you've had to budget your own money, and we have people to help you with that. And we've got our careers service. So our careers service help with several things. They can help you find your placements for you if you want to do a year in industry, but they can also help you just find jobs. So they have a part-time job fair which they run every year, and that can help students find part-time jobs. Over 75% of students in the UK have a part-time job while studying, so you wouldn't be in a minority. And in Royal Holloway there are tons of opportunities. So some of them are on campus. We have around 1,000 students employed on campus in places like the Union Shop, in our cafes. We've got people like our student ambassadors like Jack and Chloe. So there are lots of opportunities and ways to earn money there. But also because we're near Staines and Ascot, we're near Thorpe Park, we're near Legoland and Windsor, there are lots of opportunities in the local area as well. Other services we have include health services. So we have disability and neurodiversity team who are there to help students and make any arrangements necessary to help with various disabilities and other conditions. So this could be changes in the way you study or attend lectures. It could be special considerations in exams. It could be help with accommodation. Maybe you need a ground floor room, for example. This is something that they can help you with. We also have wellbeing services and student counselling. So there are workshops offered on stress. So even if it's just everyday things that you want a bit of help with, you've got that. And things like the student counselling, you can have a session with a counsellor, and that is something that's still available to you even if you're on a year abroad. So you'll have that support right through your degree. We also then have mental health practitioners. We've got multi-faith chaplaincy. We've got an NHS GP surgery on site as well. So there really is a whole range of support to help you with all the things that you might be concerned about going to uni, and to make sure you can have continuation of support for whatever help you need. Another form of support is the student union. So you may know what a student union is, you may not. I'll run through it briefly. Essentially, it's run by students for students. They're your voice when it comes to university matters. So they have student sabbatical officers who are elected by you to be your voice. But they also run events. So they run social events such as a summer ball at the end of the third term. They run activities to relieve stress, so it's been known to have puppy therapy. And they run other social events. They might run nights out or other events in that way. They might run a market. They're also a great support for great source of welfare support and advice. So they can give advice, for example, on housing. A lot of people in their second year at Royal Holloway choose to move into private rented accommodation, and our student union can help give you advice on that, knowing when you should be looking, what you should be looking out for, all that kind of thing. In terms of societies, the student union hosts the societies, and we have such a range of societies. We've got some that are subject specific, some that are focused on hobbies, some that are focused on cultural things. So here, for example, I'll just pick a few. You've got Insanity Radio, which is Royal Holloway's student radio station. We also have a student TV station and newspaper. You've got a math soc for those studying maths. We've got an LGBT plus society. We've also got Humans versus Zombies, which is essentially a Nerf gun battle that happens around campus. We've got a Hogwarts soc. We've got a vegan society. We've got an Islamic society. We've got a Liberal Democrat society. Point being, there's a whole range of things. And if there's something that you're really keen on, but that you can't seem to find it, you can also create your own society. But we've got over 130 societies, so you might struggle. And not included in those 130 are all our sports clubs. So we have a whole range of sports on offer. We've got over 35 sports clubs. These are from all ability levels. We have a Give It a Go program, which is where you can start a new sport with people who haven't done it before as well. We also have something called Varsity, which is a rivalry with Surrey University. And it means that once a year we'll try and get as many different sports as possible from both universities to play each other. I think this year there was a bouncy castle, and it's a really great fun event. So if there's a sport you're keen on, chances are you can do it at Royal Holloway. So, on to what Royal Holloway can offer you. You may have noticed the title of this webinar series is Finding You, Finding Uni. And we really think Royal Holloway is a place where you can find yourself. So if you're really into books, for example, I mentioned we're part of the University of London, the UOL, and you have access to all the UOL libraries. But even without that, the college has its own rare book collection with approximately 7,000 items. For example, this is the history of four-footed beasts and serpents, which I believe was published in about the 1850s. There's also sometimes a second-hand book market on campus, so if you're a reader, we have tons of things for you. But perhaps you love art. Well, in that case, you should visit our picture gallery, which is in Founders Building, in the big orange building. It's a collection of art mostly done by women as well, to stay with the college's history of being promoters of women. If you're into music, I mentioned we have an amazing choir, but also we've got lots of bands and orchestras within that. The eagle-eyed amongst you might have spotted on the societies that we had an a cappella group. So there are tons of opportunities, and sometimes you just find someone sitting around campus playing guitar. In terms of nature, on campus we have some beautiful grounds with a pond and marsh. We've got moorhens if you're lucky. We've got a cat that strolls around as well. And then there are woodlands, fields and wildflowers. But we're literally across the road from Langham Pond, which is a site of special scientific interest. We're also very close to Savile Gardens, Windsor Great Park, and Virginia Water Park. I've walked there in about 10 minutes from college, and it is beautiful. There are massive walks you can go around there. There are waterfalls, and a whole range of just outside space. And Chobham Common is another place that's very close to us. If you're into history, I've already mentioned about Royal Holloway's extensive history, and I mentioned that we were founded by Queen Victoria. Now that is the photo you can see on the left there, the college being opened. Just underneath that umbrella, you can see the Queen herself. But even now we hold events in Founders Quad and generally around the Founders building. So it's something we've continued with tradition. Also, you can visit the college archives to find everything from photographs, letters, and records to immerse yourself. So here's just some photos of Royal Holloway near the founding and Royal Holloway now. This is Colossus. He's our mascot, who was a bear. Another thing you may have noticed is that all of our sports teams have purple and blue kit. Now this is because the colours up until recently of the college were purple and blue. The colours were purple and blue because we have links with the suffragette movement. So one of our buildings, our library, is named after Emily Wildon Davidson, the suffragette, who attended the university, and actually in the early 1900s the university was a hotbed for suffragette activity, which is something we're really proud of. If food is your thing, then we've got a lot of options for you too. So we have a street food market with food from around the world, but also on campus we've got things like a vegetarian, vegan hot dog stand van. We've got a Japanese kitchen with sushi. We've got a bubble tea cafe. We've got a Starbucks, and then we've got a really beautiful, elegant Founders dining hall. At the hub, which is a bit more of a canteen type, you can get made to order stir fries, and then we've got various cafes as well around the campus. So there really is options for everything. What about if partying is your thing? Well, as I mentioned briefly in the map stage, we have some nightclubs. We actually have 2 nightclubs, and then we have annually a ball, so long as it doesn't get postponed due to COVID. But that's a massive party. You can see here the beautiful stage in front of the backdrop of Founders Building, which is just stunning. And we often get great acts playing. Example is actually an alumnus of Royal Holloway. He went to Royal Holloway. We have a great history of music as well, and we can get some really impressive acts. If you look on the Student Union website, you'll see some examples. If you love going out, there are also opportunities for that. I mentioned that we're near Windsor, but we're also not too far from Richmond-on-Thames and Kew Gardens. It's 40 minutes by train direct to central London, so it's easily possible to go to central London of an evening, for example, if you wanted to, or for a day trip. We're also 40 minutes by train in the other direction from Reading, and we're close to Fort Park and Legoland, and then there are various university-led day or residential trips or social trips. So some societies might do trips away. If you're in a sports team, you might go to away matches, for example, and often they can be a bit of an event. Or within your subject, you might have field trips away as well. So there's plenty of opportunities to get out of the campus and go and explore. So here are just some photos of people loving life at Royal Holloway and the surrounding areas. And that just about brings us to the end of me talking and telling you about Royal Holloway. And I think now the really important thing is to hand over to our student ambassadors, who will be able to give you their student perspective on what the university is like. So thank you all for listening, and if you type any questions you have in the chat, Jack and Chloe will help answer them.